Hey guys! Alrighty, so, in my last video on answers, I had Michelle ask me a question about totem animals, and I was very rushed, and I actually sounded like a complete bitch at the end of the video because my camera was running out of time when I answered it. And she came on and asked me if I could elaborate a little bit more, and I realized that totem animals really deserve their full own video. So I want to talk to you guys about totems today and how I view totems and how I work with them, because I think everybody's going to have a different opinion. Every author's going to have a different opinion. Yeah, so I'm going to tell you how I view totem animals, okay? And the difference between a totem and a familiar, because they're totally different. And I apologize, you're probably going to hear crickets the whole time because Norby's food is chirping up there. So, okay. So her question was, how do you find a totem animal? And in my super bitch phase of the very end of the video, I said basically, you can't find a totem animal, don't try to find a totem animal because they have to find you, and yeah, so bye. Let me elaborate a little tiny bit on that, okay? Now, what I mean by not finding a totem animal, because the thing is that if you wanted to, if you don't have a totem right now, a totem animal, you could basically go and say, well, my favorite animals are this, 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 and this, and you could pick them and say, okay, those are my totems. And then research them and do whatever you want. That's fine. You can do that if you want. Me personally, I've found that if I wait, that my personal totem animals normally come to me in my time of need. Because you can have a totem for life, you can have animals that literally are always with you, or you can have totems that kind of come and go as you need them in your life. So, I guess let me back up a little bit and explain the difference between totems and familiars. A totem animal is normally more in the spiritual sense. It's not really with you on the physical realm. It's something that kind of like a deity or anything like that, where you can create an altar to it if you want to. You can call it in during ritual. You can hang pictures of it throughout your house. But your totems, a lot of times, are animals that you don't get to see physically all the time. You know, you may be able to go on the internet, look at pictures, you may be able to watch videos, you may be able to go to the zoo, but, you know, if your totem animal is a shark, very rarely are you going to be able to see a shark in real life unless you, like, go to an aquarium. And even more so if it's like a specific shark, like a great white shark, you may not be able to see them at all because they're very, very, very difficult animals to keep alive in captivity. So you may either have to go out on boating expeditions to see them, or more easily just create an altar for one to keep that energy in your house. Whereas a familiar, hey sweetheart, this is a familiar. They are more in the physical realm. A lot of times they're here as pets, or little fur babies, if you prefer, little animal helpers. Oh, honey, there's nothing under there. See, look, it's fine. She just scared the shit out of herself. Or, yeah, they're basically our pets, our fur children. And I have 4 animals. I have 2 cats, Pyperh and Patches. I have my bearded dragon, Norbert, and I have my 5-year-old gigantic cat-sized guinea pig named Steven. And out of all of them, my only familiar that I have so far is Pyperh. Now, Norbert may be a good familiar at some point, but normally you can tell when they come into your house whether or not they're your familiar. Patches could give a shit less. When I do any kind of magical workings, when I do anything at all. Now, Pyperh, she has singed her fur before getting too close to candles because she wants to be around where all the magic's happening. She is my little baby. She follows me everywhere. I can call her. She just, you can tell that she is a witch's kitty. And, hey, ma'am, She also likes to play acrobatics and play with the guinea pig. So that is a familiar, something that is, for the most part, in the physical realm that aids you in magical workings, whereas your totem is more in a spiritual sense. It's more in the non-physical realm, where you basically pay odes to and they help you in your magical workings via properties, kind of like crystals or herbs or anything like that that has metaphysical properties. So do totem animals. And you can buy, I actually have no books on totems, but you can buy all kinds of different books. You can look them up online, and they have every animal that you can imagine and their properties. Now, you don't necessarily have to look them up, because kind of like with crystals or herbs, you know, the book may say something, but you may feel something else about an animal. You know, I may look up bearded dragons, and it may say that they, I don't know, I've never actually looked them up, but that may say that a bearded dragon has the properties of strength and stability, but when I hold Norbert, he gives me more of a love and comforting feeling. You know what I mean? So it's different. And that's another thing, is it is possible to have totems in the physical realm, kind of like if a bearded dragon is your totem and you go out and purchase Norbert. It may be that you have a totem in your house but is not a familiar. Get what I'm saying? Kinda. Okay, so let's move on a little bit here to how to find totems. Now, like I said, with me personally, I don't go out looking for totem animals. I don't think to myself, well, what's my favorite animal? Okay, I'm going to make that a totem, which you can do, but I feel like it's more special and it's more magical when a totem animal comes to you. And that may happen in a couple different forms. You may dream of them. Like, for example, I once had horses in my dreams for quite a while, and that was my totem for a specific period of time. A horse is not my totem any longer, but they were there for what I needed them for. I also have owls, have been my totem for as long as I can remember, and they are still my totems. I have owls all over my house. I mean, I have owls here. You know, I take little statues of owls when I find them, ones that actually mean something to me, and like this one is placed here specifically to watch over my altar. I have one out there that's placed next to my wedding picture to kind of watch over the house. I have a huge picture above the kitchen to kind of watch over the entrance to the house. So I put owls everywhere as my protectors. They are there to offer me wisdom, and I feel like that's a trait that you can always use some of. So that's an animal that's probably going to be my totem forever. Just recently, I found stingrays were my totem. And how did I find that out? Well, when I was on my honeymoon, we went to SeaWorld, which, I'm sorry, but I was not impressed whatsoever with SeaWorld. But the one thing that I did get out of it is they have a tank. It's like this giant swimming pool that has like this much water in it. And it had stingrays, minus the stinger. But it had stingrays that you could feed, and I spent, out of like the 6 hours we were there, probably 2.5 hours I spent feeding and petting stingrays. And I felt such a bond and such a connection to them, and I was so angry that they were penned up like they were, that I just wanted to be there. Like, if I could go back, I would go back literally just to be with the stingrays. And that's how I knew that those were one of my totems, because I saw all kinds of other different animals that were caged up, but that was the animal that I felt the most connection to. And I still do. Whenever anybody asks me what my favorite part of even my honeymoon in general, other than the Harry Potter world, it would have had to have been the stingrays. I loved them. So I went and I bought myself a stingray necklace from there, and that is what I wear when I need the strength of the stingrays. Okay? So that is one of my totems. And then, like I said, I have Pyperh as a familiar, but I don't necessarily consider a cat a totem. She's my familiar, okay? So other than dreams, Like I just pointed out, you can actually see your totem in real life. It may be something you see in the wild. It may be something you see in captivity, unfortunately. It may be something you see on television. It may be a book that you picked up, you know, because everything happens for a reason. So maybe you're looking through a book that you were supposed to pick up, and you flip through and you find a picture of a particular animal that you feel extremely drawn to. And maybe after that you go and you look it up online or in a book, and the properties that are associated with that animal are properties that you really need in your life right now. Well, that's probably one of your totem animals. And like I said, don't be sad if totems come and go. You know, if you have a couple totems that you are always feeling the presence of and you feel like you want to have altars up for, and then there's other totems that come and are around for a while and then you just stop thinking about them and you really don't, quote, need them anymore, that's fine. They'll go off and help other people, and they may come back and help you in your life someday. But yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really need to touch on with totems, because like I said, it really is up to you on how you want to go about totems. There are witches that actually don't even have a totem animal or haven't discovered one yet because maybe they don't need one. Maybe they're not an animal person. Maybe I've actually even heard of people that have, quote, totems that are mythical creatures like unicorns, goblins, phoenixes. I mean, actual mythological creatures that you would never find in real life. You can also have those as totem animals. You know, you may have a unicorn as a totem for magic, for psychism, for just their spiritual sense in general, and you may put up an altar for unicorns to help aid you. That's another really nice thing. I didn't really even think to put in this video, but that's another nice thing about totems, is they don't even have to be an animal that's real, or even, you know, it may be an animal that's extinct. So there you go. Sorry, I think I just rambled the majority of this video, but I hope that this kind of helps you guys understand the difference, first of all, between familiars and totems, and second of all, how to find your totem and what totems actually are and what they do for you. Because, like I said, it's one of the most requested videos that I have is totems, and it's so hard to talk about because I could probably go on and on and on and on, and then somebody may come on and completely review everything that I said because they have a different take on it. So it really depends on what you feel you need at the time, and how really you want to go about finding one. If you want to find one on your own and you just want to pick an animal and go for it, that's fine. If you want to wait for animals to come to you and wait for you to feel like you have a connection, that's personally my way to go about it, but it's totally up to you. So I hope this helped you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. And if I think about it, I will add in the comments below a couple links to some books on totem animals, as well as Flora, Charming Pixie Flora, on her old channel has a meditation to go through to help you find a totem, and I actually did that once, and for a while it was a stag. So that was my first ever totem, and that really helped me. So that may actually be an awesome way for you guys to start finding a totem if you really want to have one, is by going through that meditation that she walks you through. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'll put links in the descriptions for all that stuff below, and I will see you peeps later. Bye!